Hello everybody, my name is Heidi Hadley and I'm from Total Somatics. So today I'm going to discuss something that's raised quite often in my workshops, and that is somatics for a specific age group? So for example, is it for the over 50s? Now the reason that people ask me this is because somatics is a very gentle, slow, mindful movement sequence or education process. Now the answer to that question is no. Somatics is for all ages. And the reason for that is because what we're trying to do is reverse habitual behaviours or postures that develop. And these come about from the brainstem. Now within our brainstem we have reflexes. Now they're set in the brainstem, so we're never going to get rid of them. But what we can do is change the impact they have on our lives. So you see, we live about 95% of the time in our subconscious or unconscious mind. So we basically do the same things day in and day out. But what can happen is that these habitual behaviours, these habitual movements or postures can start to have a detrimental effect on us. Now, Dr. Thomas Hanna, who created the modality somatics, actually uses, and he's done a lot of teaching called the myth of aging. And it really is the myth of aging when we think of posture, because we think of old people being associated with that old man stoop. But let's think about it. Because of the introduction of computers and technology and mobile devices, we're seeing children at a very young age, younger than we were when we started using them, on their phones, on iPads, all sorts of electronic devices. And so already they're developing this old man stoop. So everything, all the muscles through the front of the body are getting habitually and chronically tight. So it's pulling them further and further forward. Now, in order to break these contracted poses, we pandiculate. So we slowly contract, we slowly release, and then we rest the muscle. And when we do this, especially that rest phase at the end, we allow all the information from the body to flood the brain and create new neural pathways or reawaken the pathways that we had before we may have got an injury or a stress or trauma which started to change the way that we howled or we would move our body. And so pandiculation is very different to stretching. Now, if you've come from a stretching background and you're doing somatics, or what I find is people that have come from a stretching background or a modality that's very heavily into the stretching side of things, they can be very flexible and they can be almost hypermobile. But flexibility does not equal healthy and fit muscles, basically. Because what you can find is that you might be quite lengthened or able to stretch those muscles, but a lengthened muscle can just be as weak as a short contracted muscle. You see, what we want to do is teach the muscles when to contract and when to relax. And so when we stretch, we don't create that intelligent process within the muscle. We don't create that muscle memory, but we do with pandiculation, which is what we do in somatics. And so you can stretch and stretch and stretch, but you're not going to change the communication between your muscles and your brain. That can only be done through pandiculation. And so what we can start to do when we pandiculate on a regular basis is reverse those contracted, those chronically tight muscles and start to get more suppleness and more flexibility through the tissues. And you see, I've got clients that have been stretching for years and still get back pain and hip pain when they stretch. But since pandiculating, they've actually said to me that they can move their body much further. They don't stretch anymore. You see, you don't need to be doing big movements to get effective release of your muscles. As soon as you learn that everything that happens, coordination and contraction of your muscles, happens from up here. So once we change the root cause or the chief communication to the body, we start moving much more intelligently and efficiently. We start to release muscle tension, we reduce pain, we increase mobility, and we can return to activities we love to do without fear of hurting or tightening or contracting or inducing pain. So I hope that's really helped bring a little bit more information forward as regards the benefits of somatics, and also the fact that somatics is for all ages. And remember, if you've come from a stretching background, it's part of your retraining and changing and shifting your mindset to understand that in order to get muscles to fully release and relax, pandiculation has much more of an impact than stretching. Remember, stretching is passive, whereas pandiculation is active lengthening. We actually teach the muscles when to contract and when to relax. So I'll see you next time, and don't forget, any more questions, please let me know and I'll answer them on these videos. Take care. Bye bye.